And it really goes to prove that if you don't measure something, nothing will be done about it.
And we have to make New Jersey's business climate more attractive for entrepreneurs.
We are Wonder Women. Like, look at all these women and what they've done and what they've tried. And even if they didn't succeed, they gave it a shot.
I don't think it's fair to put a $4 or $5 billion price tag on middle-class New Jerseyans.
We've got a great lifestyle here, and I don't want to see it ruined because politicians can't manage our finances properly.
I'm Lisa Allen, and this is As a Matter of Fact. Today we are talking women's political leadership. In 1920, the 19th Amendment was ratified to the U.S. Constitution, which gave women the right to vote. And with 2020 being the 100th year anniversary, it couldn't be more fitting for me to be sitting here with Pat Dolan and Susan Ferris Wrights, co-presidents of the local chapter of the League of Women Voters, which serves Summit, New Providence, and Berkeley Heights. Thank you, women, for joining me today. I'm going to shake your hand. I'm going to reach right over. How you doing? Thanks for coming. So I am really excited to talk to you. We've had multiple conversations, but I want, before we get started with the League of Women Voters, I want you guys to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the League of Women Voters and became co-presidents. I'll start with you, Pat.
Well, I started with the League actually I was at a bicentennial meeting in New Providence to get to meet people. I had just moved in when one of the ladies there who actually set up the bicentennial town hall meeting asked me if I were new. And she recognized that I was not usual. And I said, yes. She says, what are you doing Tuesday? And I said, well, nothing really. I had all these boxes in the living room. She says, I will pick you up. What is your address? And she took me to a League of Women Voter meeting. And when it was over, she said, how did you like it? I said, it was very interesting. And she says, good, you're joining. And I've been a member ever since. And she was quite an interesting lady. She was a doctor and a chemist. And she had actually come from Europe. She was Russian. But very, very gung-ho on all sorts of politics and making sure people knew, nonpartisan, knew how to vote for themselves. Definitely didn't tell anybody what to do. She just told you to do things. She was a rather interesting lady. I really enjoyed talking to her.
Yeah. Susan, how'd you get involved?
Basically, I've always been interested in the League of Women Voters. My mother was the president of the League in Connecticut for a long time, and my family had been involved in a lot of different social organizations and all. And I had thought about joining the League, and I actually went to a potluck supper at the Red Cross, and I met Pat on the porch, and she and I got talking, and she said, oh, why don't you come to a League of Women Voters meeting? I'm going to one. And I said, okay. So I went, and that was the beginning. That was about 15 years ago. So I have been involved since then. That's basically how I got involved. And then she and I became co-presidents primarily because I was interested in being the president but working full-time and wasn't sure that I could really devote enough energy to it that I wanted to devote to it. So I asked Pat if she would co-president with me, and we've done it for 4 years. Right. Yeah, we've been doing this together.
You know, you said something about the amount of time that it takes to volunteer, because I feel like a lot of women get involved in a lot of different organizations, and volunteering takes time. So how much time do you give to being co-presidents, and what kind of responsibilities do you do almost on a daily basis probably to make sure it runs smoothly?
A lot of time. But I'm involved with the League of Women Voters both locally and on the state level. I think when Pat and I became co-presidents, the membership had really dwindled down to a very small number, and we've been able to triple it in the past 4 years. So I think that's, you know, basically because of our efforts in trying to get people involved. You can spend as much time as you want, basically. I mean, that's essentially, we're very devoted to voter education, and as a result of that, we've done a lot of programs that we've brought to the public. We chose to do that. We've done a program, almost one program per month.
Wow.
Which has involved a lot of the publicity, as well as just getting it set up, getting a venue, getting a speaker, discussing what topics, you know, we'd like to cover. So it's our energy that we've put into it.
What topics do you cover?
Well, We just finished, we'd like to do in April a thing on environment. So we cover environment, we try to do very topical things, such as we actually had a discussion pro and con on marijuana last year, because we feel that it might be something we're going to vote on. So we try to do the most topical things doing as public meeting, because we hope it's educational. And from that, we will be doing this month on immigration. Unfortunately, I cannot attend that meeting, but it's going to be with the help of an organization from Ridgewood. We'll be doing it in New Providence, but they're nonpartisan, we're nonpartisan. We don't have any strong feeling on it, but we want a complete presentation of the facts.
Okay, so is it not necessarily pros and cons, but it's just the facts of the topic, right? Because
For this one, for immigration, yes. For the legalization of marijuana, there's obviously pros and cons. So we had people that came and presented a lot of different opinions and facts about the legalization of marijuana, because we felt that the public was very interested in the pros and cons.
Yeah, and even though it's a League of Women voters, you have men join too?
We do.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I was going to say, what kind of audience shows up for these different types of topics?
Mixed, it's very mixed.
Yeah.
It depends on the topic itself, actually. I find that we had younger people for the marijuana. So maybe there's a more of an interest coming from younger people who think certain ways about things. The questions were very provocative, I have to say that, from the younger people, where it differed when I asked a question. It was a completely different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
But this is what makes us all, make our decisions on voting.
Yeah.
And we can influence, not we the league, but the individuals can influence other people's opinions by the way they ask questions or make statements. And this is what, it's like a town hall. Everybody comes together and they sort of work through their own thinking.
Yeah.
And they're not working in isolation.
Do you find that the mission of the League of Women Voters has changed over the last 100 years, over the last 10 years? I'm being facetious. In the last 10 years, I think that when you look at the last couple of years, there's been a rise of women getting involved, obviously since 2016. So has the mission changed at all, or is really the core function to make sure that people are educated?
I think that it had, in terms of its mission, I think the mission is the same that it was when it started, which was basically to provide an opportunity for voter education and to get people to vote. I mean, that's essentially, to a large extent, what the League is all about. But if you're going to vote, you need to be an informed voter. That's the core value of a democracy, is voting. And that's really what they're still devoted to, is that getting people to the poll, but getting educated people to the polls.
Yeah. Well, because I've actually attended a few of your forums. You hold candidate forums.
Right.
Do you do for primary and general, or just the general?
We typically don't do primaries unless we're asked to do a primary. And then we sponsor candidates forums in the towns that our league is part of, which would be Summit, Berkeley Heights, and New Providence, and Mountainside. But then we are asked to moderate other candidates' forums in other communities as individual moderators, and we provide moderator training to people that want to become trained moderators.
Oh, actually, and that's an important point for the viewer. So if anybody wants to be, I'm looking at the camera to let them know, if anybody wants to be a moderator, they can contact you. So that's a great way to be involved without taking an enormous amount of time, right?
And if they want, it's right on the website. They can contact us that way, because Susan maintains the website very up to date.
Yeah. Well, while we're on that topic, why don't you tell us the website so people know where to go?
It's lwv-bhnps.org. League of Women Voters BH, Berkeley Heights, MP, New Providence, Summit, S.org.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
And talking about educating voters, you guys had mentioned something called Voter 411. Did I get that right? Vote.
Vote411.org.
Okay.
That comes out before an election, definitely a presidential election, but we try to get it out on every election in our area. It's growing across the country right now. We invite candidates to put their information up on our website. It's not altered, but we ask them for a picture, a bio, and then we ask 2 questions usually. And everybody running for the same seat gets the same question.
Okay.
They put this up. We do not change it. We only look at it just to make sure there's nothing terrible up there, and slanderous or whatever.
Of course. Yeah, well, in this day and age, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
be too
No,
careful.
that's-
so.
that's- yeah.
But this is replacing what we used to do years ago by putting it in the newspapers, because the newspapers don't go to every house. So it's too complicated. We tried putting it online through different papers that are on e-papers, and it wasn't working. So this is the best way we can get people to just, at their leisure, on their iPhone, whatever, put their address in on the website, and everything they can vote on, even questions, are there, nonpartisan, with explanations. They see who there is a personalized ballot.
Okay. Well, and I love that you guys are here today, because I feel like when you talk about women's leadership, there's a sense that, oh, if I'm not running for office, then I can't partake, I can't be a leader. I feel like having you guys sit here on this couch, ladies, sitting on this couch today, you're showing leadership and being involved in a way that actually helps move the ball forward. It keeps people educated. What do you love most about the League of Women Voters and being involved?
People's reaction. People have very positive reactions when they feel they're being helped. And I like that type of feeling. Overall, of course, you get certain comments. They think you're at this end of the spectrum, you're at the other end of the spectrum, because you're different than their opinion. But we don't state that. We just talk to the people, and sometimes they just then have to talk to somebody else that has a different opinion, and they both work their opinion out, and that's theirs. They own that, and we don't try to influence that at all.
Yeah. How about you?
I mean, I think to a large extent I agree 100% with what she's saying. I think, I believe I believe that democracy is the best, and I am very happy to be able to allow our democracy to continue in a great way. And I believe that you empower voters by giving them opportunities for voter education, and that's what the League is doing.
Thank you so much for all the work that you do, and thank you for coming today and joining me.
Thank you for asking us.
Yeah, really, thank you.
Absolutely. And I'll have you back over the summer. We'll talk about the general election.
Oh.
It's around the corner already.
Oh, it is.
All
It
right.
is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Lisa Allen, and this is As a Matter of Fact. I hope you enjoyed this segment of Women Leaders in Government and Politics. For more programming like this, you can visit HTTV's website, Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube channel. Have a great day.